This is another important element of food poisoning theory. Food poisoning doesn't just happen in the face-to-face interaction. Every touch point that you have with the customer has the potential to give the customer food poisoning. You see this with websites. If your website's not user-friendly, people will leave and go to another website that is. And if they're working with your website and then they find another website that is more user-friendly, they're going to stick with that. They're going to go with that other website because it's more user-friendly. Companies either don't realize or they don't care. Merchandising can give your customer food poisoning. If you walk into a store and the product is overwhelming in quantity, if your products are stacked to the rafters everywhere, that immediately gives the customer all kinds of factors come into play. Claustrophobia, too much information rushing at me. Oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. At its very essence, that is food poisoning theory. Now, companies know this with merchandising. If you go to a grocery store, manufacturers pay to put their product right at eye level. They pay to put their product in an area where you as a human can easily grab it. They don't put it way up high. They don't want to pay for a spot way up high because they know it's not going to sell as well. They don't want to pay for a spot way down low because they know it's not going to sell as well. They want that item right front and center. Retailers make this mistake. No one's paying for their shelf space. No one's paying them to place their product on their shelves. So really, retailers think, well, that means I can put the products anywhere I want on my shelves. I can put a display shoe way up top here. I can put a display shoe way down on the bottom. I can stack everything to the rafters. And you see it in shoes, you see it in clothing. I went into 2 sporting goods stores the other day, both of them competitors, and I'm not going to call them out because that's not what this is about. One store was very poorly represented. I mean, their stuff was just crammed and jammed in the store, and the store didn't present itself very well at all. I walked into another store, and this is literally just right across the hall at this mall, not nearly as packed. By coincidence, the person greeted me when I walked in the door, had a nice smile, was much more relaxed. At the store across the way, it was chaotic when I walked. No one had time to greet me. No one had time to help me. Everyone was too busy. And there was stuff everywhere. And the stuff everywhere gives customers food poisoning. And it has a negative impact on sales for companies that take this approach because they don't understand the concepts of planograms. I worked at Target for a number of years. I didn't work specifically on the planogram team, but when you work with a company that designates a spot for everything, one thing that you see are patterns. One thing you see is, oh, they put this up here because of the kind of item it is. I know this because when I go over to this other aisle, even though this other aisle is a totally different product, they place it up top because it's similar in size, it's similar in makeup. There's a system, there's a pattern, there's a strategy to putting the product out when you have a planogram. When you don't have a planogram, the strategy is not as strong. Like in clothing, you have these, oh, we're going to make these display racks of certain, we're going to display the most current styles. So you have feature racks that you put up top that you show that this is a style that we plan on selling, but nothing stops you from overstuffing that feature rack. Nothing stops you from putting a 30% off sign and putting as much stuff as you want or as much stuff as you can on that rack. Doing so gives the customer food poisoning.